Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Gyle here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. A little bit of a break in programming there, guys. Apologies for that. That was half term, in case you're wondering. But the kids have returned to school, so all is right with the world. Terrible as that sounds. It sounds like I want them to be at school. But anyway, at least we can return to scheduled regular programming. And I thought we'd kick things off with a little bit of coverage from the King of Cybran tourney. For those of you that don't know, Mad Mozart has been running these King of Faction tourneys for the last few weeks alongside the Grandmasters Cup tourney, which he's running. So he's been a busy little bee. And so far we've had Seraphim, Cybran and Aeon. Aeon being the week just gone. So this is from about a week and a half ago for the Cybran tourney. And the object is to get all the matches played in a day on a Saturday. And basically the King of the faction is declared at the end of the day. They get a little avatar, all that kind of thing, all that kind of jazz. I'm not going to delve too deeply into any of the coverage for any of these tourneys, mainly because the replays weren't put up on the thread, though I can understand why, because it's a lot of extra hassle for the director. But if you do like this format, specifically the Cybran tourney as well, when you're in luck, there is a little bit more coverage out there from none other than Luzern, baby. That's right, Luzern has stuck his toe into the proverbial swimming pool of casting for the first time. I believe it's the first time. I don't think he's done anything like that before. And I've watched a couple of minutes of it, man. The guy can cast. And let's face it, very few people know the game better than he. So if you haven't already check that out, why not go do it? I'm definitely going to sit down with that later with a cup of tea and a biscuit. But I'm not going to put the link in the description below. Why, Gyle? That seems so rude. Because I'm going to make you go to the Facebook page, man. That's right. It's on Forged Alliance Forever's Facebook page. If you haven't liked that already, go do it. It's an excellent incentive for you to get on over there and increase the likes on the page. Anyway, like I say, this particular one is going to be a round 3 match, and it's going to go down on Badlands. Let's go on over to the game zone and see how these guys are going to get on. So let's take a look at the players and their starting locations. Up here at the top, in the blue corner, in the electric blue corner, none other than my good friend and fellow caster, TA4Life, of course going Cybran because it's mandatory, and he's opening first land. And his opponent down here at the bottom right, none other than perhaps the tournament favourite, BC Blackheart. He's sporting the season's very fashionable Pontiff White, and of course also going Cybran. Now we're going to compare the initial opening build orders for these two guys. We've had Engineer, followed by Engineer, and then another Engineer for Blackheart. I wouldn't be surprised if we get 3 Engineers. No, we have got an early Hunter out from TA. I was just going to say, very few people go early Lab, or I see few people going early Lab on Badlands. Why? Because there's so many mexes to get out there. You want that early Engineer. You want the extra Engineer on the field quicker so you can expand. You don't want to fall behind your opponent in eco, and any Engineers you pick off, well, not going to be able to edge you that far ahead purely because of the amount of mass that your opponent has access to in what is a relatively small space. But no, TA knows better than me, as we all know he does. And he is heading south with great purpose with a mole and a hunter. And we'll see if we can see where he's heading for. He's actually due to come in around the back. The mole is going to park right up here and get blapped in the face by BC Blackheart's ACU. Terribly sad that just got accepted for a mortgage on a house with his girlfriend, but not to be. She will be disappointed. Perhaps she can shack up with this hunter who's still alive and sporting all things good for the Cybran Nation, or I should say Blue Cybran Nation, of course, being King of the Cybran tourney. There are no factional favourites here, ladies and gentlemen, but we already have a little bit of airplay on the map. I've got a Flying Eyes, a scout out for TA, and another lab over here. So TA definitely looking the more aggressive of the two, but you can see the difference in the early Engineer startup for Blackheart, who's not being aggressive. He's running 27 to 22 mass at current count, and I think that's probably going to continue to climb. And TA is going to want to be able to score at least a couple of kills on some Engineers soon if he wants to make the early bot decisions count. But I can't see that happening. He has got a Mantis parked over here out in the west, and he's parked that Hunter out over in the east. So he's looking to intercept the odd Engineer that's going to be coming in around the edges. Bomber coming in there, picks off something. I did miss it, but not entirely sure what that was, but does get shot down for his trouble. Blackheart already has a few interceptors on the field running air cover, so nicely done from him. Mantis still lurking over here in the west. Blackheart's bringing out his ACU. It's not a bad idea to do that. You've got to think that there are going to be hostile forces likely at this stage of the game, coming up to 5 minutes in. If you haven't already bagged these side edges, you're going to be facing some kind of opposition, especially at this level. So why not get your ACU to get out there and do it? He's not going to be under any pressure at this stage in the match. So decent decision making there from him. TA4Life moving out east, doing the same with his ACU, picking up those 4 edge mexes. Let's take a look at the production capabilities for these two guys. So far on the land factory front, we're looking at 7 land factories for TA. Let's take a look at Blackheart. Well, just 5 for him. So TA4Life expanding his production capabilities quicker, and has actually jumped ahead in mass as well. So something has gone slightly wrong in Blackheart's early build. Trying to discern if he's using eco somewhere else for a mass upgrade. He hasn't lost a lot of engineers anywhere. TA just seems to have a little bit more of a efficient strategy for this late early game, if that even makes any sense. TA also with numerical advantage over in the middle western portion of the map. Lots more Mantis on the field, and Blackheart coming in single file at the moment with his own forces. Not ideal. Facing overwhelming firepower. He's going to lose many more units than he kills if he continues to do that. Sets a rally point a little bit further back and ceases that. Back up, steaming up the middle with an engineer as well. Trying to pick up a few extra mexes. And now Blackheart gets on top. I'm wondering if that could potentially have been a power bottleneck that we saw. But it did look like TA got to his mexes, or completed his mex grab long before Blackheart. You can still see Blackheart's got 4, 5, 6 uncapped mexes, though we have got engineers on 2 of them further back. Mantis shifting right on Blackheart's side of the map. TA coming forward with probing attacks. Might want to turn around. Just decide to do that. He realizes quite how many Mantis Blackheart has on the field. Tries the center instead. He's going to get a little bit more traction there. He's actually going to split these 2 forces, send some off towards the west. Blackheart senses the trouble, is going to bring his ACU in from the far west. He has got an auto gun in place as well. No Medusas in this pack, of course, so TA not going to be able to really threaten those 4 mexes. Looks like Blackheart has that all under control, but he's got more problems coming in to the north on just about every front, and I think this is where we're seeing TA's factory spam come into play here. He's got an awful lot on the field suddenly. Where are we up to now, I wonder? Up to 17 land factories for TA. That's significantly more, you can immediately see, than Blackheart. Really has allowed him to get an awful lot more Mantis on the field, and nice little run by, getting in around the back, slaughtering some build capacity, peacefully going about their reclaiming business. Going to pick up a couple of Mantis kills as well, and importantly knock down a couple of mexes on the way, threatening now the rear mexes. Blackheart though coming in with bombers to counter, and that's going to be a nice efficient counter indeed. The question is how many mexes get picked off by TA before Blackheart can subdue. Another little split coming here. These 4 Mantis coming in towards this Hydro. Radar would be a nice kill on top of it. Where are we looking at Blackheart wise? He certainly can't afford to lose that hydrocarbon, already bottlenecked on power to begin with. Now look at this. TA all over Blackheart suddenly. 84 mass to 51. We've got forces coming down all 3 channels. We have T2 on the field. Rhinos heading south as we speak. Do we have any T2 tech? Yes, we do have T2 tech for Blackheart. He's got quite a few T2 factories in play. He's upgraded en masse. Whereas TA is going old school, not utilizing NG mod changes for the moment. He prefers to be dumping more build capacity on that single T2 factory. The question is, with all of this upgrading, has Blackheart left it too late? There's an awful lot of blue in his base. He has got a couple of rhinos out now defending. They're taking a lot of Mantis fire. And still this little run by that's coming around the back here, picking off yet more mexes. Blackheart's upgrading nicely somewhere though, because the deficit is not increasing. It's now 81 to 70. HQ under a little bit of pressure, but I'm pretty sure TA4Life doesn't have the damage in the area to cause any major problems. Thus he's sticking with unit prioritization rather than going after the factories. But look at this, Hydro down, and now the T1 P-Gens are under threat as well. What has that done to his energy? Well, the upgrades, I think, are what were causing the major power issues for Blackheart, so he's sorted them out for the moment, but definitely doesn't want to lose that second Hydro as well. Bombers coming in to counter. Oh, TA finish it off. 164 hit points left on that Hydro, and that would have bottlenecked Blackheart at current expenditure. He's really going to regret not taking it out. He is, however, returning. Will that Rhino pick it up on the way past? And takes a little bit of friendly fire there. That looked like down it goes. Blackheart suddenly losing some of that stored power now. Not producing enough, and he's under so much pressure. TA4Life has grabbed the upper western plateau, but Blackheart has grabbed the eastern, so all level on that front. But despite all of this pressure, Blackheart not falling behind that far in terms of eco. Could be a lot worse off than he is right now. We've got Vipers hurling down missiles here from TA up on the western plateau, just blapping units of build capacity out there in the west. And now we're starting to get some serious Rhino power rolling off this massive range of T2 factories that Blackheart's got going on. Build capacity getting caught out by a couple of units of Mantis. That would be a major target. Take down that T2 P-Gen. Yeah, he just needs to get a few more units in down. There's a wide open gap on this side. There's no point defense in here. There is an auto gun going out, but that get completed by the time TA4Life's troops get there. Blackheart utilizing his ACU once again. Another run by comes in on the west. TA all this time going completely unmolested. He really is hurling everything he's got at his opponent. And here we have T3 on the way as well. 42% complete and climbing. Be an interesting tech switch. Small bands of rhinos facing overwhelming numbers of Mantis. At the moment, the rhinos getting the better end of the deal. Not enough Mantis to deal with them. And Blackheart actually making a push over in the west. 14 minutes gone in this one so far. Let's take a quick look at Reclaim. 8,000 banked for TA4Life, 11,000 going on 12,000 for Blackheart. Blackheart once again doing phenomenally well on the Reclaim side of things. He always does. Now we've seen some Medusas getting into the pile as well, and there's such a nasty unit, that EMP disabling those rhinos, knocking them out of commission, allowing the Mantis to gain the upper hand, and that is really how you get back on top against your teched out opponent when you're going mass T1. your Cybran builds more Medusas. Nasty little unit that they are. That is a hefty group of T2 sitting in the middle, though. Blackheart could definitely get some stuff done with that. Send something up the middle, but the bombers we saw working so well for Blackheart earlier on have been pacified thanks to this air wing that's sprung into existence here from TA4Life, circling at this edge of the map over here. Another little run by potentially from TA as well, this time threatening the southeasterly mexes for Blackheart. A couple of T2s in the mix as well down here. Definitely wouldn't want to lose those. He's struggling to get back on par with TA. TA missing a trick here of defending that Mantis group from these bombers when he's got the dominance in the air over here. But Blackheart finally deciding to make a push right up the center. And that is an awful lot of T2 he's got in there. You can see all of the Medusas. And they're getting cut to ribbons now. There just aren't enough Mantis to get there in between them, keep them alive, distract the fire. Have to have a serious amount of Mantis to contend with that many Rhinos, though. Hefty chunk of T2 on the ground. We do have bricks rolling off the production line for TA. Blackheart's still operating off T2, though T3 is on the way, 35% complete and climbing. And the bricks are actually already on the front line. TA still looking to be aggressive, concerned by the enormous hole that Blackheart is tearing up here in his defense. Like to keep an eye on these two zones of conflict. Blackheart's got some D set up for his ACU there, which he's able to just pop in and out of at leisure. Of course, plenty of saved up power. He's able to come forward and overcharge those bricks. A lot of build capacity in TA4Life's base going pop. And now TA's power grid under pressure. Definitely doesn't want to lose this T2 back here. How are we looking at already? At the moment he's doing okay on power. And Blackheart actually forced to back up out of there. And that attack by TA muted by Blackheart's ACU. Very even match this. Blackheart has got back on top in a big way thanks to that last attack. Think about how many mexes have been knocked out of commission here. 1, 2, 3, 7. I think 1 or 2 of these might have been under TA4Life's control as well. So possibly 8 or 9 mexes taken out in that last push. And still 6 Rhinos operational. Now heading to the eastern edge of the map, which is relatively undefended. TA looking potentially to lose yet more. That's a bad place to park your planes, though. TA getting caught there by some of the T1, and now even taking some static anti-air fire as they try and get back to friendly territory. But another attack from Blackheart, this time coming up on the western edge of the map. TA's bricks finally overwhelmed. Now we're seeing integration of Medusas from Blackheart. Incredibly useful unit that they are. But a wheeling effect going on. TA4Life doesn't back up and yield map control. He looks like he's going to push and mirror Blackheart's attack in the west with an attack of his own down the center. Blackheart's going to struggle with this one thanks to the presence of bricks in the area. Rhinos primary first, making the Medusas easy targets once they're gone. Down they go. But massive mass differential between these two guys. 120 to 74 now in favor of Blackheart. That is definitely unsustainable. TA4Life needs to get control of these borders, stop these little rhinos that are roaming around picking off mexes, secure the area and get those mexes back online as soon as humanly possible. It looks like he could lose not just one mex but potentially three, one of which is a T2, which spells yet more problems for TA. Little run by though, nicely orchestrated in the east by TA. It's not going to stick around. Yes, he is going to stick around. Strays a little bit too close to a Cerberus turret though with the banger. That is a shame. Loses that and one of the Mantis as well. This back Mantis just out of range. Tapping away at that Mex. Mex was 800 HP left on it. Blackheart's going to bring in some build capacity perhaps to try and reclaim it. Could do with just setting some on repair perhaps. Hero Mantis. You need to move, Hero Mantis. And there it goes. Nice work from Blackheart using what he had in the area. Another push meanwhile going on from TA. Down the center and wheeling left, but then changing his mind. No doubt upon seeing all those radar signatures coming his way. Hasn't actually got fantastic intel. He's got the power to run radar right now up front, but needs to get one in here somewhere. Another Mantis still alive, being pursued by engineers. Over in the west, build capacity hastily trying to throw together some auto guns. A couple are online already. Producers could do with knocking out those engineers though. A third one now in place. That's going to be a tough nut to crack. But more pressure coming down the middle and this time moving east from TA. And look at this, Blackheart once again utilizing NGMod to its fullest. Of course, it's not NGMod anymore. I really need to stop referring to it as NGMod, but the alterations that NGMod brought, I should say. Look at all those T3 factories all working on bricks. That's going to be a lot of T3 emerging on the field at the same time for Blackheart. And not before time, because he does have problems. Another run by over in the west from TA. Is TA actually airdropping bricks? Those two seem to have turned up in peculiar placements. 23 minutes gone in this one. 104 changed to 176 in favor of Blackheart. Reclaim wise, 40,000 more or less banked for Blackheart and 25 for TA. But looky, mass brick on the field now. Marching on this position, has a couple of Cerberus turrets in place. See how easily the bricks tank that fire and just brush them aside. No challenge whatsoever. TA trying to effect some damage at the same time, but he just can't get level again with Blackheart. Really struggling to maintain his eco. And now we've got Trebuchet fire coming in from the eastern plateau, which is working on this far eastern starting location. So TA under yet more pressure, and for the moment that's not something that he can do anything about. More pressing concern for the moment will be these bricks making their way up the center, or just east of center. TA4Life, of course, has T3 in play, but not enough of it. He is starting to upgrade some of the other factories, though. We've got 4 T2s in here and a T3 in place. It is hard to keep up with this setup that Blackheart's got going. And now 6 bricks bearing down on TA4Life's eastern flank, and he really doesn't have a lot on the field to contend with it. He's trying to shuffle right with some reinforcements. Engineers being airdropped in for TA. We've got a few Corsairs on the field as well, so we have got a tech transition from TA for T2 Air. TA trying to hoover up some of the mass on the field over on Blackheart's side of things. Mass wall sections being deposited, trying to impede the progress of these bricks. Corsair adding to the damage, or what damage TA can put out. We've got a couple of bricks coming in now as well from TA. Blackheart forced to back up out of range. Hydro goes down. And surprisingly, that Hydro, essential to TA's operation, having some power issues. We've got an upgrade going on the Commander. Hopefully that's nearly done. That will be what is usurping most of his power. TA should think about maybe turning off these shield gens, at least temporarily. How is that old things now? He's completed that upgrade. Well, he's got more than enough, and he's banked a lot of mass. He really needs to step up that expenditure now that that's completed. Perhaps have been the T2 engineering suite. Let's actually have a look at what he went on with his gun. No, it's not at all. Talking rubbish. Might have been the resource allocation system. But things not looking good for TA in the slightest. Massive hole in TA's base. Lovely inclusion of the trebuchets over here in the eastern plateau, causing problems this way. We have got some trebuchet fire coming in from the west as well. TA trying to counter with his own attack. But this is just horrendous if you're a TA fan. 160 mass to 57 in favor of Blackheart, with more mechs due to go down. Go out on a limb here and say this is very, very difficult to come back from for TA. He's changing things up. He's queuing up a whole bunch of air factories up at the back there. Not entirely sure what his strategy would be for that. Wants to try and get air control. Maybe he's just trying to get mass Corsairs together and he wants to dump them all on a snipe attempt. That's going to be tough, though, because we have a transition to T3 Air from Blackheart already with a couple of ASFs on the field, so even that spectacularly unlikely to succeed. And now with bricks marching in the front door, Blackheart set to defeat TA and relegate him to the losers bracket. And of course, it would be possible for him to come back. TA4Life throwing out the GG, accepting defeat. And yeah, you certainly did. Blackheart, 61,500 mass banked against TA's 47,000, so he didn't do a bad job. But Blackheart just being a little bit more efficient, I think that demonstrates the advantages of really upgrading those factories en masse, especially in on a map like Badlands where it's all land-based. But TA4Life taking the bulk of the fire at the end there. ACU going critical at the 30-minute mark. Down he goes. Nice win there for Blackheart. But yeah, on a map that's so ground-based as Badlands, this kind of thing, you need to get your factories upgraded and start spitting out that tech en masse, especially when you're a race like Cybran or UEF and you have either the bricks or the Percivals, because they're such a dominant force on the ground. But anyway, hope you enjoyed that, guys. There's always more to come from me in the future. In the meantime, stay well and stay safe. This is Gyle signing out.